Hi guys. So I have been going back and forth on whether or not I wanted to share this personal story of mine with people on the internet who I don't know personally and who don't know me personally. But I think that I've decided to share it, one, because it's definitely an integral part of my identity, and two, it's a really uplifting story, and it's a story of stars aligning in the right place at the right time, and it's pretty miraculous. And so I want to share this with you because I have been extremely excited about it, and I hope that it can help you get to know me better, and maybe if there are people out there that have had similar experiences, or people that are like me that haven't exactly had the same experience, it'll encourage you to maybe share your own stories. So why am I telling you this? Hi, I'm Mariana. I am in my early 20s and I'm living in the States. My journey though did not start in the States. I was born in Romania and I was actually given up for adoption when I was a baby. So I was in an orphanage for a year and 2 months in Romania, and I'm not saying this next part because I want you to feel bad for me. I have a wonderful, wonderful life, and I was really fortunate to be adopted, but I didn't have the best start in life. I was malnourished. A lot of the kids in the orphanage were, and I think they just didn't have the resources to take care of all the babies that they had, and so I was underweight, and basically I was behind. But my wonderful parents wanted a baby, and they adopted me from Romania and brought me here. So that's the setup of the story. In Romania, the adoptions are closed, meaning the paperwork that we get is pretty scarce. I mean, I have a birth certificate and I have a couple papers outlining reasons in which my mom gave me out for adoption. I'm one of those people that are adopted and really wanted to find my birth family. I think it's pretty cool, honestly. That's the word I would use, to find people in this world that look like you and that you share your DNA with. Like I said, it was a closed adoption. Didn't have a lot of records. I have always wanted to try to find my birth mom, but I really didn't know how. I thought about hiring a private investigator. I mean, the list goes on for the things that I wanted to try and do, but I kind of gave it up. Every now and then I would go back through my birth records and I didn't really find anything that changed. Last January, so January of this year, I had this spark inside me that said, you need to go through your birth records again, and so I did, and I actually found an address that had been there the entire time. I am 23 years old. It has been there all of these 23 years, and I just didn't notice it, I guess. But anyways, I found this address. It's a Romanian address, and I was like, great, I will send a physical letter. So I wrote a letter basically saying, hey, I'm your birth daughter, and if you want to find me, this is my information. And I translated it to Romanian, sent it off to this address in Romania. Now, I looked it up, but I really had no idea how to format a Romanian address. This address that I found was very, it was kind of a broken address, the way that the paper was. The bottom line is I had no idea if this address was going to lead to anything, and I didn't even know if it was a correct address the way that I formatted it, or even the numbers that I was putting in it. But anyway, so I sent it off, and this was in January, and I kind of forgot about it. Also, just as a side note, my parents, my adoptive parents, are really supportive. They were super supportive of me trying to find my birth mom, and it doesn't lessen my relationship with them at all. Anyways, about 3 months later, I guess it was like 4 months later, so it was April or May, I get this friend request on Facebook. The woman that friended me, she had the same name as my birth mom, and I was like, wow, that's really weird. But a lot of times things like that can be a scam, and so I didn't want to get my hopes up, but I did accept it because I had sent the letter, and honestly, just I mean, the what if was there. What if this really is your mom? And so this woman sends me a message, and she sends me a picture of my letter, and she says, does this belong to you? And I said, oh my gosh, like, yes, that belongs to me. And then about 20 minutes later, I'm getting an incoming FaceTime from this woman, and she was my birth mom, who actually speaks Spanish, and I know Spanish, and so we can communicate that way. If she didn't know Spanish, it would have been a much different relationship because I don't know any Romanian. But the miraculous part of this story is that she doesn't live in Romania. She actually lives in a different European country. And so the only reason she was in Romania was because she was visiting some family there for a week. And I guess they still owned this apartment. Nobody lives there, but they still owned it. And every now and then they get mail delivered to this apartment. And so I guess their neighbors, who they still know, gave them my letter. That's how she was able to find me. I mean, she didn't even live in Romania, and somehow she got my letter. To have all of these things align, and my letter getting to the right apartment, my mom being in the right place at the right time to get my letter, and the fact that she speaks Spanish and we are able to communicate on a normal level. If she had only spoke Romanian, I wouldn't be able to get the depth and the breadth of our relationship, and neither would she, because there would just be that like complete language barrier, especially over FaceTime. I wanted to come on here and tell the story to everyone because it's such a part of who I am. I mean, being adopted, it's not that there's a lack of love or anything like that, because I feel as close to my adoptive parents as I think anyone feels to their biological parents. But not knowing something as personal as, where do I come from? Like, what's my story? I think leads a lot of adopted people. I mean, I can really only speak for myself, but it led me to feel slightly detached from the world I was living in. I think that knowing your story is a really big part of how humans are able to feel connected. And so I just am so incredibly grateful that I was lucky enough to, number one, find my birth mom, and number two, have her want a relationship with me, and number three, we're able to speak a language that we can both speak fluently enough to have real conversations. I hope that knowing that, I mean, if you're adopted, for example, or if you are thinking about looking for your birth parents, or questioning, whether or not, should I look for my birth parents? Like, how would that change me? Maybe having someone that has gone through it and was lucky enough to have all the stars align, maybe that will inspire you to just reach out. 2019 has been life-changing. Finding my birth mom has helped me feel more grounded than I ever have in my entire life, and just feel like so incredibly grateful that I was able to have a positive experience with this. I also want to say that I will be going to visit my birth mom in January, and it's really soon, and I'm going to meet her in person for the first time. Yeah, thanks for listening to my story. I hope that it inspired you, if you're adopted or not. If you want to see more videos from me, just subscribe to my channel. I'll be coming out with a lot of different types of videos. I appreciate anyone that takes the time to listen to my story. Okay, happy holidays.